Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. I am going to talk about the books I got in the mail. All right, so everybody I think probably knows what book of the month is. And actually, I didn't really have a good understanding of what book of the month was only a few months ago when I started really getting into Bookstagram and noticed a lot of people talking about the blue box or book of the month or whatever. So it is a monthly subscription box where not a subscription box, it's a monthly book service, I guess. And they basically choose 5 books, often new releases or, lesser known books or whatever. And you pick one of the 5 for a credit that you've already paid for ahead of time. So that's why it kind of feels like a subscription. And then any extra book that you want to add of those 5, I think you get up to 2 for $10, so $9.99. So if you buy the annual subscription, the credits end up being about $12.50. So if you get 3 books, which is what I usually do, and pay, cash for the 2 extra for $10, that's $20, $30, $32, I guess, a month that I spend to get 3 books. Which, if you think about it like that, it's probably not that great depending on how much you like the book. You could probably get books of your choice of a wider range in paperback for somewhere a little bit similar, especially if you have a membership to like Barnes & Noble, or if there are discounts happening at Barnes & Noble or a sale, which there always are. So I got it because I really wanted to see what I thought of it. I really wanted to kind of check out what their offerings were. I have enjoyed some of the books, and some of the books I've read separate from the BOTM club or whatever. And in general, I haven't been loving the selections that I've been getting, and it could be the selections that I'm selecting. So usually of the 5, there's one romance, a mystery, a thriller, seems like a literary fiction. So there are 2 from January that I still haven't read yet that I'm really looking forward to: The Removed and The Prophets. So if I really love those 2 books, then that would be really 50-50 on what I've loved so far, or what I've gotten so far, and how I felt about them. So I've already read from them Outlawed, which was good, but not as good as I was thinking it was going to be. This Time Next Year, which was fine, but also kind of boring. And I've also read Addie LaRue, which was one of their choices, which I liked, but I think there was so much hype around that book, there's just no way it could live up to the hype. Also V.E. Schwab, who I really like, except I loved the London series, Darker Shade of Magic. And then the other one, sometimes her writing is so beautiful, but then if you kind of think a little bit more about the story falls a little bit flat. I don't know why I'm bunching up today. I'm sitting on a floor pillow. I'm hoping that I like that, but we'll see. I didn't like the chair. I don't know if you guys remembered the chair experiment of 2020, but I didn't love it. So floor pillow it is. So I got my book of the month for this month. So I'm opening those for you, with you, looking at those books. And then I also got 2 books in the mail that I ordered from Amazon. One is The Toll by Sherry Priest. And I think I've read another Sherry Priest book, and I really think it was a YA book. So I think this one is going to be completely different. State Road 177 runs along the Suwannee River between Fargo, Georgia and the Okefenokee Swamp. Drive that route from east to west and you'll cross 6 bridges. Take it from west to east and you might find 7, but you'd better hope not. Okay, so they're on a honeymoon. There's a reservation in the swamp. Why? I don't know. For canoeing. Okay, well, there you go. But shortly before they reach their destination, the road narrows into a rickety bridge with old stone pilings with room for only 1 car. Much later, Titus wakes up lying in the middle of the road, no bridge in sight. Melanie is missing. When he calls the police, they tell him there is no such bridge on State Road 177. Ooh, and it's called Toll. So, Southern Gothic horror with a contemporary twist. Oh, that's what sold me. Like, that was the first time I'd actually read what it's about. What sold me on this book was Southern Gothic horror with a contemporary twist. So, I don't know what my February TBR is doing, but this one is on the list for, you know, on my radar to keep up with. So, that's that. And then I think I might have saw it on Bookstagram. This one I also saw on Bookstagram. I don't even know how to go. Okay. Also saw on Bookstagram Alex 6. So a couple of the Instagrammers that I really love were promoting this book and at least talked about loving it, but may also know the author. So, you know, you have to be a little bit cautious of people recommending things when they know someone, because it's hard to tell them that their stuff sucks. So hopefully Mr. Vince Taplin doesn't suck, because he does seem to be a really nice person. Alexa and Francis were wealthy executives who had everything except for kids. When he tragically passed away, she gave up hope for being a mother until she met Vic Miller, a simple family man and a nearly perfect doppelganger of her husband. Okay, this is already sounding a little bit like a hot mess. Not as much of a hot mess as my hair right now, but a hot mess. She pays him handsomely for his donations to produce a child who resembles her beloved husband. The offers grow more enticing and Vic's marriage begins to strain. Alexa wants his genes. She is wealthy, attractive, powerful, and utterly obsessed. He has no idea she is watching him. That sounds intriguing. I'm going to guess thrillerish. I'm going to guess Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I'm going to guess Fatal Attraction. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, this Vince guy seems like a nice guy on Instagram, so I hope it's good so that I don't have to rip his book a new one on Bookstagram. All right, and so then we've got our 3. I had told myself I was not going to get 3 again because it's hard enough to read the books I already have purchased and that I have out from the library. I still have that bag over there full of books from the library that are going to be due. So I was going to only get the 1 credit for the month, and then I failed at my mission and got 3. All of which I don't know hardly anything about. So what's wrong with me? This is how they get you. Girl A by Abigail Dean. You can flee your parents, you can bury your secrets, but you'll never leave behind what your sibling knows, what you all shared. Lex Gracie doesn't want to think about her family. She doesn't want to think about growing up in her parents' house of horrors. And she doesn't want to think about her identity as Girl A, the girl who escaped, the eldest sister who freed her older brother and younger siblings. It's been easy enough to avoid her parents. Her father never made it out of the mess he created, and her mother spent the rest of her life behind bars. But when her mother dies in prison and leaves Lex and her siblings the family home, she can't run from her past any longer. Together with her sister Evie, Lex intends to turn the House of Horrors into a force for good. First, she must come to terms with her siblings and with the childhood they shared. Propulsive tale, escape, survival, gripping psychological family story, shifting alliances. Who have each of these siblings become? So that's Girl A, which I am interested in. I am interested in reading it. It sounds really good. I don't know anything about Abigail Dean, and I'm trying to keep an open mind, actually, because, again, I've been feeling a little bit falling flat with my BOTM selections. So I'm hoping that this is one of the ones that will help me to turn that around. The second one is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I'm a sucker for a Black girl on the cover of a book. So I tend to want to support that, even if I don't know anything about the book, or even if the book sounds like it's going to be a super messy adult woman, which is not my favorite, you know, the all up in other people's business, drunk at work character. Those aren't my favorite characters. Morgan Rogers is the author and is a queer Black millennial. She writes books for queer girls who are looking for their place in the world. Okay, so that doesn't sound too bad. With her newly completed PhD in astronomy in hand, Grace Porter goes on a girls' trip to Vegas to celebrate. She's a straight-A, hard-working, high achiever. She is not the kind of person who goes to Vegas and gets drunkenly married to a woman whose name she doesn't know, until she does exactly that. This one beautiful, spontaneous moment upends Grace's carefully laid life plans. Staggering under the weight of her parents' expectations, a struggling job market, and feelings of burnout, Grace flees her home in Portland for a summer in New York with the wife she barely knows. I'm kind of excited about this one, but I want to keep it realistic. Keep the goal, you know, keep the expectations low, low, low. Okay, and finally, a book that I have been eyeballing for a long time. I think this is one of the older books. Yep, it's actually one of their selections from July that I added on for February. The Shadows by Alex North. So, why did I want this book? Who knows? They believed they could control their dreams. Instead, they created a nightmare. Okay, so that sounds awesome. You knew a teenager like Charlie Crabtree. A dark imagination, a sinister smile, always on the outside of the group. Some part of you suspected he might be capable of doing something awful. 25 years ago, Crabtree did just that, committing a murder so shocking that it attracted that strange kind of infamy that only exists on the darkest corners of the internet. Dark web. And has inspired more than one copycat. Paul Adams remembers the case all too well. Crabtree and his victim were Paul's friends. Paul has slowly put his life back together, but now his mother, old and suffering from dementia, has taken a turn for the worse. Though every inch of him resists, it is time to come home. It's not long before things start to go wrong. There's another copycat. Mom is distressed and insistent that there's something in the house and someone is following him. It wasn't just a murder. It was the fact that afterward, Charlie Crabtree was never seen again. So I think one of the reasons why I was really interested in this was because of how highly people really liked it, but also how much they really liked The Whisper Man as well. So I think that Alex North has a great reputation for being a great thriller horror writer. So this will be my first one by him, I think. I think him's a him. Yep. He lives in Leeds, England, apparently. Yes, England. So what was that? I don't know what that was. Anyway, another adult looking back on their life and the horribleness that they've endured book. So I've got two of those in this stack. And Almost Messy Night for a Straight A Student book. And a missing person psychological thriller, Is the Bridge Even Real book. And a Give Me Your Sperm or Else book. So those are the books that I got this week in the mail. Slowly tilting every few seconds. In the mail. I am variably excited for each one of these books and every other book on the face of the planet, apparently. So let's hope that the next time you see me, I still own a home and that I haven't had to sell it to build too many more bookshelves. Okay. Catch you on the next one.